So right now, who would the factions be? Honestly, I don't know. But you look at Rudyard Lynch's analysis, which it appears he's got 3 days to make his prediction. I don't know if his prediction was 1,000 dead by April. Maybe he means end of April, so he gets an extra month if he wants to really nitpick. But he said that there would be a People's Congress in Texas, and there would be the traditional Congress in D.C. I said, you're wrong. The People's Congress would be in New York City, and the traditional Congress would be in D.C., run by Donald Trump. Because Trump, he thought Trump was going to win. And I said, and New York is the epicenter of where the Democrats and the liberals are waging their lawfare and their campaigns. But the issue largely is I guess my point ultimately why I asked about the left and the right is there is a left and the right, though it's not like there is this rigid cube for which there are boundaries you can't be in or out of. It's more like it's a spattering on a graph where the further you go out, it becomes harder to define, but the closer you get to the nucleus, you can clearly define what it is. Right. So it has its orbit. It's a planet with a bunch of different factions that orbit within it, that they work in tandem periodically. The right has something not so similar. For the nerds out there, the left is the alliance and the right is the horde. And what I mean by that is the right is a hodgepodge group of disparate ideologies that have come together largely only because the unified forces of the left are psychotic and burning everything down.
And they're actually forcing your hand to be labeled as right just by virtue of having one qualifying thing that you disagree with them on, forcing you into a box that you don't even necessarily see.
Well, what are the X and Y axes here, right? Like if we're graphing left versus right, but they're both kind of a hodgepodge, I guess. What are the left and right, or the X and Y axis there?
There is no easily defined X and Y axis. I can give you several examples that many people have posited. Recently, I've been saying it is those who serve God and those who want to be God. What that idea tries to encompass is the further you go to the right on the scale, you have people working towards and being part of something larger than themselves, which includes each. And it's funny because you'd imagine that means, communism, but it certainly doesn't. As you go closer to the left, you get hedonistic and people who are willing to do whatever it takes for their own personal benefit, even if it destroys everything else. But there's a bunch of different ways to approach it outside of that. And I think culturally, it is those, there's so many ways to define it. Smart versus dumb, independent thought versus dependence, cult-like adherence to disagreeableness. All of these different things are components of this multidimensional axis. So the way I see it is, on the right, what do you tend to have? Disagreeable nature. The right has Christian conservatives, it has post-liberals, it has disaffected liberals, it has atheists, agnostics, largely Christian, some Catholic, some evangelical, some Jewish, some hate the Jews, some pro-Israel, some hate Israel. On the left, they largely adhere to whatever the group think is, even if it's contradictory. So, for instance, they're anti-military industrial complex, for which they scream about Israel, but then they support Ukraine.
Yeah,
there's seeming paradoxes in what they're arguing because it's not about. It's really fascinating.
There's no underlying principle. They're just taking orders, basically.
Well,
that's what it feels like.
Man, on the right there is logic and code, and on the left there is chaos. So as long as you are within the orbit of the sphere of chaos and you are aligned with its whims, you're fine. And its whims change every single day. So today they say you got to buy an electric car. Tomorrow they burn your car down. It makes literally no sense.
It's also a party of, oddly enough, they've done a very, very good job of posing the right as the party of money, as the party of resources, whereas a great number of the very, very rich, very much support the Democratic Party, yet they talk about hating billionaires. That to me is the one. They've turned billionaire into pejorative. It's now used to other you in a way where it's millionaires, trust funds, politicians who live wealthy off of the citizens who have turned certain rich people into an enemy and use their wealth. And now they use the term oligarch as a way to other you or other somebody who makes a lot of money. And there's no actual logical conclusion there because a lot of them come from wealthy families. Sure. The politicians have made millions and millions of dollars off of the American people. Most of them just willing to look the other way, not realizing that a lot of these politicians enrich themselves off of their own money,
Sure, yeah.
while othering people who made billions of dollars and created jobs, created things for other people.
I got to address this super chat. I don't normally do this.
No, you don't.
But Josh Branson said, Tim, the right is the alliance, preserving order and discipline, and liberal anti-establishment are the horde. The left are the void, a vacuous nothing seeking to consume everything and bind it to its will. My friend, you don't know the lore of World of Warcraft. That's embarrassing. I can't believe you even super chat. No, I'm kidding. But let me try it this way. At this point, Warcraft lore has become a convoluted mess of hodgepodge garbage, so we can all agree it's nonsense. There's pandas running around. I don't even know why anymore, and they do kung fu.
This is now
I'm not
a
kidding.
World of Warcraft show.
Absolutely.
Period.
Yes. So when they look, Lich King was great, and I played vanilla. I played Burning Crusade. Lich King, I is where I slowly started walking away. Then they introduced kung fu pandas. Anyway, I digress. The analogy is this: in the original Warcraft. World of Warcraft, at least, the Alliance were the establishment forces. The humans with their great kingdom of beauty, the elves with their great kingdom of beauty. Well, to be fair, they didn't have night elves in that point, and they were like mystics or whatever. And this, I'm going to get some arguments here from diehard fans. The point is, the undead were a faction of the Horde. These were the Lich King destroyed Lordaeron, the city of humans, cursed them to be undead. They were mindless zombies serving evil. They broke free from the curse and were immediately shunned and poo-pooed by the establishment. So the Horde took them in. The Horde originally was a hodgepodge group of disparate ideologies and factions who were teaming up for survival, and the Alliance were the establishment forces of the existing nations that wanted to keep everything the way it was. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.